Yo, YouTube fans, and welcome to another edition of me. Yeah, so you're a Linux user, like me. Now maybe you like to try out stuff, do things, tinker things, experiment with your Ubuntu desktop or system, operating system, call it what you want. But you're a little frightened to do it on your working system in case you screw things up and have to reinstall the whole lot again. Oh no! So the best thing to do is to install a virtual machine and then install another copy of Ubuntu in the virtual machine where you can play around with it to your heart's content. You can throw things at it, break things, install things, uninstall things, do whatever you like without harming your working system. So you can basically crash your car and walk away from it back to a nice clean system. So that's great. So that's the advantage of working within a VirtualBox. So you've got your Ubuntu desktop all set up just the way you want it. You don't want to mess around with that. So we use our virtual machine. First step of which is to get a virtual machine. Now I'm going to show you how to install VirtualBox, which is the one I choose. So if you go into your Ubuntu Software Center and do a quick search for VirtualBox. Here we go. VirtualBox. That's the one we like. Okay, so I'm going to install that now. As you can tell, I'm an expert whistler. Okay, almost done. Almost there. This is the fun bit, eh? Come on, come on. Go, go, go! Maybe if I do this, it might help it. Do you ever think that sometimes? By doing something completely irrelevant will help things go faster? Like repeatedly pressing on the button on the sidewalk to cross the street. No, it doesn't. Come on. Alright, well if this goes for any longer I should just pause the recording and come back when it has finished. Okay, so it did it about a second later after I said I'm going to pause the video. Right, okay, cool. So we can close that now, and somewhere here we should have VirtualBox. There you go. So click inside VirtualBox. Welcome to VirtualBox. Right, so the first thing you need to do is obviously get your original Ubuntu 13.04 or whatever distribution you have disk and stick it in your disk drive, because that's what you're going to be installing. And to set up a new virtual machine we click new and we'll give it a name. So I'm going to call this Ubuntu 13.04 and it's automatically recognized that the type is Linux and it's a Ubuntu, sorry. Click next. Now how much memory do we want to give our virtual machine? Well, I'm feeling generous. Normally give it about 4 gigs, and we're going to create a virtual hard drive. It's going to be a VirtualBox disk image, and we're going to, should we have it fixed, or let's see, if we have fixed size, let's give it a fixed size of 8 gigs. I'm gonna go for around about 12. Okay, so what that's actually doing is it's going to create me a virtual hard disk of exactly around about 12 gigs. If we'd have clicked dynamic, what it would have done is it would have basically expanded the disk on the fly as we use more space. Now that can actually slow things down a bit. It's not as efficient as actually creating a dedicated space, so in this instance I've gone for that, and as you can see it's taken a bit of time to prepare that for us. So I'm just going to whack it on pause again and come back when it's done. And we're back. So it created my virtual hard disk and brought me here. So as we can see now, it's set up a framework for us to be able to install Ubuntu 13.04, a virtual machine. So what we need to do first of all is click Start. Select the drive where our installation disk is. And the install should go pretty much as you would be installing a version on a clean machine. I'm just skipping through these messages here. They're just from the virtual machine telling me about my mouse pointer and which keys I can use to do this and that. So this looks pretty much like any normal installation you'll be doing, and in fact that's all it is. So I'm just going to pause a while whilst we let this process begin. And we're back. So after the disk finally got off the ground, we come to our familiar installation first screen. So we're going to go ahead and install Ubuntu. Yes, we do have at least 5.4 gigs available. We are connected to the internet. I'm not going to install updates download updates while we're installing, but I am going to install the third-party software. Okay, so we're going to select Erase Disk and install Ubuntu. Now it's safe to do so because we are working inside a virtual machine, so we are not going to be touching our system proper, so we're all good. So I hit the install now. Select my time zone. I'm going to stick with English US. And I'm going to computer's name JSON visual. I'm going to choose a password. And I'm going to say login automatically. I'm the only one going to be using this, and it's a virtual machine, so I'm not terribly worried about password security in this instance. Okay, so we're going to start copying files and doing the install, so we'll come back when that's all done. Welcome back. Our installation has now finished. We didn't have to do anything whilst it was rumbling through the install process, and now we have the installation complete dialog box, and we need to restart the computer in order to use the new installation, so we just click restart now. Oh, it's exciting, isn't it? Okay, so it says it's shutting down. Now this has happened to me a couple of times before, whereby it just hangs at this point really. I don't know whether that's because of my particular hardware or it's a bug. Either way, all I'm going to do is I'm going to close the virtual machine. I'm just going to power it off. Simple as that. So I guess we could remove our installation disk. We no longer need that. But however, we should now have a fully working virtual machine running Ubuntu 13.04. Let's click start and find out. Oh, first I shall actually remove that disk just in case it tries to boot up from it again. We don't want to go through another installation. Okay, start. Okay. Not quite sure what that warning was before. And here we go. I have a virtual machine running Ubuntu. Doesn't look like it's going to be as snappy as my real machine, but it is a virtual machine. That's not too bad. So yep, here we go. So awesome. Fantastic. So now I can play with this to my heart's content. I can install things and whatever without worrying about upsetting my my everyday working system. I'm just going to shut down again. Okay, so now we've got our virtual machine running. We might like to change a few of the settings. As you can see, we've only got 12 meg here put aside for our video RAM. So let's quickly change that. Go into settings, display, and let's just whack it full up to 128 megabytes. And we can enable 3D acceleration. Okay. So there's a couple of other things you can do as well. For example, change the boot order, set your audio, quite a few things. Looks good. Okay, now we haven't done anything with our virtual machine at this point. It's a clean install, so now is a good time to take a snapshot. Well, now I'll just leave it at snapshot 1. In fact, no, I won't. I'm gonna call it fresh install. I'm not going to bother putting a description in because the name says it all. Okay, so now I've got a snapshot of the install as it is, bare bones. So this will enable me to fire up my virtual machine, do whatever I like in it to my heart's content, and no worries if it blows up. I can go back to my fresh install snapshot and start all over again. Now obviously we can install how many virtual machines we like here. Ubuntu, Xubuntu, Kubuntu, whatever you want. Fedora, the list is endless. So you can play around with all kinds of different distributions and flavors of Linux without destroying your main system. So hope you enjoyed this little tutorial. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it, okay? And we'll see you again soon. Thanks guys, bye.